it's like this here. There's enough 20s to where you can say at each boundary there's a different fight going on. Then we have 20s in the avenues. So the 20s in the schoolyards and the 20s is beefing. 9 times out of 10, the guys that's fighting with the schoolyards, they're not even coming off of Adams Boulevard. They come from Venice and Arlington. You see what I'm saying? If there's a fight with the 30s, then 9 times out of 10, that fight right there is coming from the guys that's coming out of Lauren Miller Park. If there's a fight with the 18th streets, 9 times out of 10, that's coming right off Adams Boulevard with the group that's hanging on Adams. Fight with the Mid-City, that might be coming out of the Avenue 20s back over there by 17th around Arlington or Venice, or in the area around Western and Washington. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different groups of, so many pockets of the 20s that you can just look up and say, okay, you already got a group that's going to deploy when the shots take place, but at the same time, we're not even aware of who did what until it happens.
Tell me about the ins and outs.
That's neighborhood blood and outlaw blood. That's East Side and West Side rolling 20s. Us and the Outlaws have always been tight. We've always had a tight alliance, and we take on the same adversaries from the East Side to the West Side, and we've partied together. We've never had any levels of conflict. We've always been like a brotherhood between us. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that we all represent rolling 20 bloods. It was in the county jail. We all stick together. In prisons, we all stick together. You know what I mean? It's just like a whole nother car.
I had a homeboy, rest in peace, that used to always talk about Santa Claus. What can you tell me about Santa Claus?
Santa Claus, that was my homeboy. Santa Claus was OG homie. Santa Claus, I'm going to tell you what I know, but I remember about Claus, man. Claus was a very articulate storyteller. Claus was somebody, man, that it's funny to me when I think about Claus because he was gifted, right? And one of his greatest gifts was the ability to tell a story, the art of storytelling. And that's something that people like now, because if we look at rap music, that was one of the things that made us listen to the original rap music, was the art of storytelling. We didn't know that was our CNN. For instance, if we listen to music like Eric B. and Rakim or EPMD, and they talked about what was going on in their neighborhoods, and they told stories that gave us an understanding of what was going on in their areas, even though they did it over music. And the art of storytelling always grabbed us. And Santa Claus was the type of person that could tell a story. He was a down homie, and he had his times in the streets and put in work and all this here. But the greatest thing I remember about Santa Claus was he was articulate. He could tell a story. I was in Soledad with Santa Claus, man, and we all sitting around on the field in Central. And Santa Claus got all the bloods out here and he telling the story. And I ain't gonna sit here and try to make it sound like he wasn't telling some false truths. But he did it so well that he had everybody out here doing like this here. When he stopped talking, they said, then what, Claus, what happened next? He was articulate, you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing about him. Anybody that knows him will tell you, Santa Claus could tell a story.
Was he a big dude or a little dude?
Santa Claus was, man, because I was littler then. Santa Claus was about maybe 160 pounds, something like that there. 160, maybe 170 pounds at the biggest. Probably, he was probably about maybe about an inch taller than me.
What would you say about Rocky?
Rocky was a good homie. Rocky was somebody that was, he was a good homie. Rocky was very independent. Rocky was a dude that was about his money. And he was somebody that was always he was somebody that was a contributor. You got a lot of people, you got a lot of users in the game. You got a lot of people that ain't got nothing, that ain't worth nothing, right? Rocky had a lot of value because Rocky was a great contributor. He was somebody that you can go to Rocky and you yourself, are you somebody that's solid and within your game and that you got something good going on? And you talk to him and say, hey homie, this is what I want to do. I want to know if you want to get in with me or you want to invest something or you want to loan me something or whatever, and you got your sales plan together and maybe can get some understanding of maybe the profits of this here, or you know what I mean, or maybe just give a reason why you just need this in order to do what you need to do. He was the type of guy that would make a contribution because of the fact that he was always willing to help you get up on your feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Miss Rocky. So at what point was it rumored to be your house was the headquarters at one time?
My house was, I got 3 brothers. My oldest brother's 4 years older than me. My youngest brother 4 years younger than me.
What's their names?
OG Crazy B, My second oldest brother is K-Ray. My youngest brother is Lil Crazy B. So between my oldest brother and my youngest brother is 8 years. So that's 2 generations. That's 2 generations. I'm in the middle of both. I'm in the middle of the oldest and the youngest. So I was in the streets with my older brothers, and I'm still in the street with my younger brother. My older brothers have moved on now. They outlaw bikers. You know what I mean? They in their world doing what they do. But at the same time, you know, they're in their 50s. At the same time, all of us, the way that we were a family. So we were a dysfunctional family, but my father was really cool with everybody in the neighborhood and everybody knew him. So my father didn't mind people being at our house. You had a lot of people in them days that came from abusive homes. You had a lot of people that just didn't have nowhere to live. You had a lot of runaways. You had a lot of different situations going on in people's houses to where they just couldn't go home. Might have lived in an enemy neighborhood or something. You know what I'm saying? You just couldn't go home. But our house, everybody was welcomed at. I had times I walk in my house and there might be 9, 10 homies in the middle of the floor, sleep under the pool table, or watching TV or doing whatever they do. I just go upstairs and go to sleep. My father, he'd come home and might knock on the door, and one of the homeboys might open the door and let my father in. He wouldn't even be tripping because he know everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he had a greater understanding. But see, my father came out of a generation and a time where in New York they had gangs out there, but they wasn't nothing like the gangs out here in LA. And I hate to use the word gang. I'd rather say urban social groups. That's what I'd rather use, because gang was the word that was put on us by law enforcement and by the media. Originally, it was a disrespect to say that would consider us to be gangs.
Around what year was that everybody used to hang out at the house?
My house, we was hanging out there, man, from the mid to late 70s, all the way up to like around 1984.
What street was that on over there in the hood?
Dalton Avenue, right across from Long Miller Park. I've been, man, when I was 1978, I was 11 years old. We went to, this is a good story right here. This is a good story. 1978, I was 11 years old. We caught ourselves walking to Dinker Park. It was a party on 29th and Dalton. We lived on 27th and Dalton. It was a party on 29th and Dalton. We went to the party, and remember now early on I said that the boundary was like 29th Street because of the Fauché School District. We went to the party. We go over here to go to the party, and the people at the party wouldn't let us in because there were Crips in the party. Once again, you know, the Fauché School District. So, you know, a party going on, you inviting people from school. We show up, we got red on, they ain't letting us in here, and we rowdy. So, okay, cool, we gonna go to walk to Dinker Park. Man, we call ourselves walking to Dinker Park. We got to Jefferson and Dalton. No, we was walking the street and a car pulls up on us. It was a Riviera, one of them old school Rivieras, and the dude in the car said something to us, and we start banging on him. We little, we young. I'm young. I'm like 11 years old. My oldest brother is like about 15 or 16. We banging on the car. So the dude in the car take off going south, going towards Dinker. So we still walking. By the time we get to Dinker and Jefferson, here come another car come off of Dinker. So now my oldest brother, he bangs on him. So when he bang on the car, throw up a red flag, roll the 20 blood. They stop. One dude in the car said, "What?" He like, "What? What'd you say?" So then this dude was like, this ain't doing his head. What'd you say? What? So another dude, somebody, I guess, you can hear somebody else in the car, everybody else saying, "Hey, is the party over yet?" And this, right? So we like, nah, you know, the party still ain't over yet, and this. Then you can hear the voices in the cars. It's like 1 in the morning. Hold on, wait a minute. And dude do like this, he said, "This is Harlem Crip, cuz, rolling 30s. So we all banging now. It's about maybe 15 of us. And we young as fuck, man. We out there banging on, hollering, screaming, and jumping up and down. And then this motherfucker, I think we had one pistol with maybe 2 bullets. This 1978. My brother Crazy B, he fires a shot. Next thing you know, these dudes open fire on us. The crowd dispersed. Now we running back to the neighborhood. Now this other car done caught up. And you don't hear nothing but tires screeching and gunfire. The crowd done split up. We all, because between Jefferson and Adams, if you in the area around Dalton and around Dalton Avenue, between Normandy and Western, you know, it's a series of alleys. We running up the alleys trying to get back to 27th Street, right? Because we lived on 27th. So I'm coming up the alley on Harvard, because somehow I end up on Harvard. I don't know where everybody else went, because when they started shooting, we all went. The crowd, instead of going in one direction, we all dispersed in different directions. I'm running up the alley and I see people hiding behind trash cans, and we trying to get back up to 27th. We get to 27th Street. I see some of my homies back then that was around back then. So everybody leery. I'm in my mind, they're not coming back to 27th Street. This is what I'm thinking. I'm a kid, and I ain't got no sense of understanding with this here because of the fact that I'm just out here. We get to 27th and Harvard, and we talking, and they like, man, be careful, that might be them. So we get to 27th and Harvard. So I look up, and I'm walking ahead of everybody. They see a car pull up. So they said, be quiet, that might be them right there. And man, I know it ain't them. I seen the car was a taxi cab. I'm like, what's up, blood? And I seen it was a taxi cab. Everybody else is all leery, jumping, hiding and shit, right? So we keep on walking. I'm like, fuck it, they ain't coming back down here. We get to 27th and LaSalle, right? Now I ain't so far up now, and we see some headlights coming. So I do the same thing, and I said, that ain't them, fuck them, they ain't coming back here. And I said, what's up, blood? Man, I did that shit. The car stopped, the motherfucker jumped out and opened fire on us, right? They jumped out and opened fire on us, right? So the alleys behind us, everybody, I'm in front of everybody. So everybody I'm with made it to the alleys, and they dispersed once again through the alleys. I'm hiding behind a van. These are grown ass men, man. These motherfuckers dragged me out behind the van and beat my ass. They dragged me out behind that van, man, and stomped the shit out of me. I never will forget that. I was 11 years old. And I'm talking about literally, man, they had stomped the shit out of me, man. My head looked like a basketball. And it was crazy because this was one of the things that had truly shaped me within my life as a gang member. And for a long time, I had a great deal of hatred because of that. You know, when I was a kid, this was something that I could always look back on. When I was a kid, I'm 11 years old, motherfuckers beat me up and put a gun to my head. And they beating the shit out of me, you know what I'm saying? So at 11 years old, you could imagine at this point in time, they created a fucking monster. You know, in my mind, you know, people would always say, damn, you crazy, this is a motherfucker, this and this and this. But people without realizing that for me, this is something to me like this. I had a thing where it wasn't just these one group of Crips, it was all Crips. And in my head, this is the way that it was for a long time. Because of the fact that being a kid, you know what I mean? It's like your level of indoctrination. I came up in the days when we wasn't even jumped in. You know, we started jumping people in because of the fact that we had people that grew up in the neighborhood that we'll see them later on, and they done moved and they claim maybe a Crip set. We look and say, hold on, man, you from 20? He said, no, I'm not from 20s on me. I used to live there, but y'all never put me on. I got put on this set. So we started putting people on. But at the same time, it's like, you know what I mean, we weren't jumped in because of the fact that we created somewhat of the fabric of the community. Us, me, my family, and the generation of people that we were around, because we were the ones created the transition into the level of escalation that took place. We was the dudes when the crack came in, when the automatic weapons came in. We was the dudes that took the gang banging in from the street fight, the zip guns and the chains and the bats and all that shit to shooting it out, gunning motherfuckers down and leaving motherfuckers for dead and making funerals happen. That's what we were. So we, being that when I was a kid, we weren't jumped in at that point in time. And I got OG homie right now that used to clown me and say, man, you know, you was never jumped in the hood, but you was damn sure from the hood after you took that ass whooping. He said that was your initiation. But like I say, man, you know what I mean? It's just crazy because that's 1978, right? Shit, it's 2017. So you could imagine that was a whole nother era, a whole nother time, and the cast that was around there ain't even here today.
Man, that's down there 40 years ago.
Exactly. Well, I've been from my hood, man, I've been from my hood going on 42 years. I was 8 years old, man. I'll be 50 in August. So that tell you right there, shit, I'll be 50 in August. The only thing about it is I'm not stuck in one place.
Right.
And you know, a lot of gang members are stuck in one place. A lot of motherfuckers want to be who they were last year. I'm always looking towards something else because I always got to think bigger. I'm thinking about the hood. I'm thinking about the community. I'm thinking about humanity. I'm thinking about being black. I'm thinking about surviving. I'm trying to think about what do it take. I look at nowadays, and it's interesting because I work with kids and stuff. You know what I mean, doing gang intervention. And my belief in the world now is that I can't take it upon myself to wish the best, to want the best for my kids, if I don't want the best for your kids. Because of the fact that they say it takes a village to raise a child. So that means that my kid and your kid are the same person.